Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a conversation with the Mutts. I'm the Mutt,
I'm Mrs. Mutt.
and tonight we are going to discuss cryptids of Virginia. This will be the final cryptid discussion. Next week, we will be moving on to a fan suggestion of why the Mississippi runs backwards. So we're going to check into that over the course of the week. I do apologize for us being late. There were some technical difficulties, and we needed to get that straightened out. So now that that's all taken care of, we'll get down to the show. Virginia has actually got a few more cryptids than I had originally thought they had, to be quite honest with you. Allow me one moment, and I closed my notes, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe the night I'm having. I cannot believe the night we're having.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Loki.
Oh, Mr. Loki man over here.
You guys should see him. He is laying on his side. You'd think he was having a rough night. He has one paw draped over his head like, oh my God.
Yeah, which is what I'm feeling right now. So Loki's got it covered. You know, he's got it. Well, he's also sleeping directly under the lamp, which
he's not covering his eyes though, so it's not like the light's bothering him.
I don't know. That one eye looks like it might be slightly covered.
No, but anyway, it's not.
Okay. He's like, well, then
it just looks like, oh my God, I got such a headache.
I was gonna say, is it a headache, buddy? Anyway,
these kittens are driving me nuts. Get them out of here.
Right. We're working on it, buddy. We're working on it. The first cryptid that we're going to discuss tonight is Chessie. She is a snake-like aquatic creature that some say is at least 30 feet long and as thick as a telephone pole. The first reported sighting was in 1846 near Virginia Beach.
Now, is she in the bay or what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She also she apparently travels through
tributaries. Go up the rivers?
Yeah, she does go up into the rivers too. They discuss that as well.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
And can I go out? Can I go up to the James River Bridge and see her sometime?
I didn't see anything about the James River Bridge with her, but there is one that we will be discussing tonight. There are several that have actually been seen in the James River. Several cryptids around the James River. Most of this information is by an Anthony Romano, who is a cryptozoologist. Okay, so I will give credit to Mr. Romano for the information that I am relaying to you all. Chessie of the Chesapeake Bay, or the Chesapeake Bay Beast. From the rugged mountains of southwestern Virginia, we turn our attention. He had covered several other cryptids that I didn't get into. We turn our attention to the expanse of the Chesapeake Bay, where another legendary cryptid is said to make its home. Known as Chessie, this mysterious aquatic creature has been the subject of eyewitness reports and local folklore for generations, capturing the imagination of sailors, fishermen, and beachgoers alike. According to the legend, and I will say that growing up in and around and playing in the Chesapeake Bay, I had never heard of Chessie until I read this article, so take that for what it's worth.
I've heard the name Chessie, but I didn't know anything about it.
Right. Well,
so I'm learning here with you.
Yeah. This was, when I read this, I was very surprised to hear about it because, quite honestly, I had never heard of Chessie. According to legend, Chessie is a massive serpentine creature with a long, sinuous, bony and horse-like head. powerful flippers that allow it to glide effortlessly through the water of the bay. Eyewitnesses describe it as being incredibly fast and agile, capable of outpacing even the swiftest boat. That is a frightening thought, because I've seen some fast boats on the bay, and disappearing beneath the waves in the blink of an eye. The origins of Chessie, the Chessie legend, are shrouded in mystery, with some speculating that the creature may be a surviving remnant of a prehistoric marine reptile, such as a plateosaur or a mosasaur. Okay, my mouth does not do scientific terms very well.
You don't know how to pronounce your dinosaurs.
Not all of them, no. I admit it.
Plesiosaurus, try that one.
Plesiosaurus. Others suggest that Chessie may be a previously unknown species of giant eel or some other aquatic cryptid that has managed to evade scientific classifications. Sightings of the Chessie have been reported since the 1930s, with eyewitnesses describing a creature that is both awe-inspiring and terrifying in its appearance and behavior. Some have even claimed to have captured photographs and video footage of Chessie, although the validity of these images remains subject to intense debate among cryptozoologists. As someone who has long been fascinated by the mysteries of the deep, this is Mr. Romano, have spent countless hours investigating the Chessie legend, poring over historic accounts, interviewing eyewitnesses, and even conducting his own expedition in the waters of the Chesapeake Bay. While I have yet to encounter Chessie myself, meaning Mr. Romano again, I remain convinced that there is more to this legend than mere myth and misidentification. One of the most compelling aspects of the Chessie legend is its enduring popularity and cultural significance. Again, I've grown up in and around the Chesapeake Bay. I grew up in the city of Chesapeake, spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours in Virginia Beach. Used to fish on the Chesapeake Bay and have never heard of Chessie. So I don't know what this cultural experience is that he's referring to, because I don't know anybody else that knows who Chessie is either.
Time to take a poll, babe.
Maybe I should take a poll. What do y'all think? Let me know down in the
Time to start asking some people around here. Have you ever heard of Chessie?
And maybe, you know what? Maybe I should go door to door and do a door to door. Have you ever heard of Chessie, the Chesapeake Bay Loch Ness Monster? I can just see me doing that with a microphone. The creature has become a beloved part of Virginia's maritime folklore, inspiring. Okay, here we go, folks. Again, I'm challenging this. In fact, you know what? For anybody that's listening, if you know of any artwork or song that has been written about Chessie, the Chesapeake Bay monster, please tell me about it, because they're making a big deal in this article about folklores, and the creature has become a beloved part of Virginia's maritime folklore, inspiring countless works of art, never seen one, literature, never read one, and music, never heard any. It has even been adopted as the mascot for a minor league baseball team, the Norfolk Tides. No, I don't think so. I could be wrong about that, but we'll have to find out. Yes.
All right. It's also tying it to Maryland, so that's where you may hear more about it.
Okay. Well, of course, because Maryland thinks it owns the entire Chesapeake Bay, which is in and of itself for me a pet peeve.
Yeah, because it's saying that Maryland locals have nicknamed it Chessie.
Oh, okay. See, there you go. They think they own the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
Hey, Maryland, screw you.
And it says it's got a preference for shallow water and swimming near small fishing boats and swimmers.
Another intriguing aspect of Chessie's legend is its potential connection to other aquatic cryptids from around the world. From the Loch Ness Monster of Scotland to Ogopogo of Canada, there are numerous, and I'm sorry, Canada, if I mispronounce that, somebody please correct me. There are numerous reports of massive serpentine creatures that seem to defy scientific explanation. Could Chessie be a part of this global phenomenon? A creature that has somehow managed to evade detection and study by the scientific community. Dun, dun, dun.
There's a theory as far as Chessie that it's a basilosaurus that somehow survived an ice age extinction 34 million years ago.
A basilosaurus.
A basilosaurus. And I love this one. This is just, I'm looking over
a four-leaf clover that I've overlooked before.
Just a quick article at something or other mysteries.com.
For some reason, I'm not showing.
And the last theory that they're looking at.
Hello, Ninja.
Is that Chessie is actually an escaped anaconda.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the theory goes that back in the day, sailors used to keep snakes in the hulls of their ships to deal with the rat problem.
Ninja, as far as the photos are concerned, those are just 4 of many, many photos. I'm actually putting together a video that I will be posting. I'm having to do 2 videos because the faceless roommate is in the wedding and has requested to remain faceless. So I'm having to do a video without him in it. So right now I'm working on the one for the family, directly for the family. Anyway, go on.
Well, I was going to say, if you sent her to my new Facebook,
yes,
she can look at the pictures I posted.
Your new space. Oh, that's true. If you look for Danica, Danica, Ward, Ward, on Facebook, you can see more of the photos there.
I made sure not to post any of the faceless roommate.
Yes. The faceless roommate is not there by his own request.
Anyway, once these old ships were abandoned and decayed in Baltimore Harbor, the snakes escaped into the city's sewer system and survived the winter in the warm pipes and have been reproducing ever since.
Of course.
This particular gentleman says, I love this idea. It reminds me of New York City sewer gators.
Sewer gators,
But for the same reason, we don't actually have massive albino gators in the New York City sewers. I doubt anacondas could survive the winter. Also, although anacondas are in fact aquatic snakes, to the best of my knowledge, they live in the Amazon River, which is freshwater, not in saltwater.
Oh. Although, who knows? There could be an adaptation.
It's a possibility.
I don't buy it, but it could
I don't
be.
either. I could see them possibly adjusting to brackish.
Yes.
But I don't see them adjusting to salt.
No. Brackish would be about the extent I would see them. Yeah. In the amount of time that they've been reported as having been seen right here. Our next cryptid is the Mothman. No exploration of Virginia's cryptids would be complete without first paying homage to the legendary Mothman. This enigmatic winged humanoid first made its presence known in the Point Pleasant area of West Virginia back in 1966, but its influence has since spread across state lines, permeating the folklore of neighboring Virginia. Eyewitness accounts describe the Mothman as a tall gray figure with glowing red eyes. Those glowing red eyes seem to be a common theme among cryptids.
Yes.
And an impressive wingspan of up to 10 feet. Its appearance is both awe-inspiring and terrifying, a being that seems to defy the very law of nature. Some believe the Mothman to be a harbinger of impending doom, pointing to its alleged appearance prior to the tragic collapse of the Silver Bridge in Point Pleasant in 1967. The bridge disaster claimed the lives of 46 people, forever linking the Mothman to this dark chapter of West Virginia's history. Now, see, Point Pleasant is actually in Virginia. Why are they saying West Virginia? I don't understand that.
There may be one in West Virginia.
There
too.
may be.
We
We do have those states where the one town, literally one side of the house is in one state and one side of the house is in another. Yeah, you're right. Others speculate the Mothman Others speculate that the Mothman may be an undiscovered species of creature that has somehow managed to evade scientific classification. Sound familiar? Should have. Chessie. And study. Its unique combination of human and insect-like features has led some to suggest that it may even be of extraterrestrial origin, a visitor from another world that has chosen to make its home in the remote wilderness of the Appalachia. Regardless of its true nature, the Mothman has become a cultural icon, inspiring books, films, and countless works of art. The town of Point Pleasant has embraced its winged resident, erecting a statue in its honor and hosting an annual Mothman festival that draws thousands of visitors from around the world. As a cryptozoologist, I have made the pilgrimage to Point Pleasant myself, eager to immerse myself in the lore and legendary legacy of this fascinating creature. Again, that was Anthony Romano who said that. This is also him. He's done quite a few of these. The next one we're going to discuss. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a Bigfoot here. Actually, we have Bigfoot, and then we have a smaller Bigfoot, which I'll get into later. No discussion of Virginia's cryptids would be complete without mentioning the legendary Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch of the South or the Wood Booger. There we go. Love that name.
God.
I love that name. I think that name
sounds like you're digging splinters out of your nose.
The Wood Booger. Yep. And that, of course, that would come from Appalachia.
Yeah.
That's the mountain folks up there in the Appalachians that call him the Wood Booger. Down here we call him Skunkfoot. And we haven't seen old Skunkfoot around here, around these parts.
Since what was it, 82?
1980.
1980. I was close.
Yep. We have not seen Skunkfoot, as we refer to him, since 1980. And yes, he was seen in and around the Northwest River Park, which is in Chesapeake.
Which is quite a beautiful park.
Yes, it's actually, I love that park. I haven't been there in a while. I have actually worked that park as a security officer.
That's where you had the run-in with the bear.
That is where I had the run-in with a 10-year-old and a mama bear and a baby cub. For that story, you need to go check out Stories by Celtic Mud. Little shameless self-promotion there. The elusive ape-like creature has been subject of countless sightings of the...
I may have to do a guest appearance on that and tell one of my stories.
You may have to. Investigations across the United States and Virginia is no exception. According to eyewitness reports, Bigfoot is a tall, hairy, bipedal humanoid that inhabits the dense forest and remote wilderness around the state. Its appearance is said to be striking, with a muscular build, long arms, and a face that is at once human-like and distinctively primate in nature. Eyewitnesses often describe finding large humanoid footprints in the wake of a Bigfoot sighting, as well as hearing strange vocalizations and catching whiffs of powerful musky odor. Just what I want to hear, or just what I'd love to smell right around dinner time. That is said to accompany the creature's presence. The legend of Bigfoot has deep roots in Native American lore, with many tribes across North America telling stories of giant, hairy, man-like creatures that roam the wilderness. These ancient tales have merged with modern sightings and investigations, creating a rich and endearing legend that continues to captivate the imagination of people around the world. As a cryptozoologist, I have long been fascinated by the Bigfoot phenomenon and have dedicated countless hours to studying the evidence and interviewing eyewitnesses with the scientific community, while the scientific community remains skeptical of Bigfoot's existence. I believe that there is compelling evidence to suggest that this creature may be more than mere legend. Some researchers have suggested that Bigfoot may be a surviving remnant of an extinct species of primate, perhaps a close relative to the Giganticus pithecus, a massive ape that once roamed the forests of Asia, Russia, and even into the United States. Others have proposed, that Bigfoot may be a previously unknown species of humanoid, a missing link between humans and our primate ancestors. Of course, there are also those who dismiss the Bigfoot legend as nothing more than a hoax or a case of misidentification. Skeptics argue that eyewitness accounts, are unreliable, and that the lack of concrete physical evidence, such as a body or DNA sample, cast doubt on the creature's existence. Despite the ongoing debate, the legend of Bigfoot remains deeply ingrained in Virginia's folklore, and the creature continues to be a source of fascinating and mystery for people across the state. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, there is no denying the enduring power of this enigmatic creature and its place in the animals of cryptozoology. Well, I can tell you, I can recall the Bigfoot sighting that we were talking about earlier, being reported in 1980 in my hometown of Chesapeake, like I said, or near, and it was in and around, not near, but in and around Northwest River Park. Locally, some of us call it Swampfoot.
Wasn't it Skunkfoot?
Skunkfoot. I'm sorry, you're right. Skunkfoot. I'm having trouble reading tonight. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So there have been sightings. I remember the hype back in the 80s. I was all of 10, but I still remember that. Now here's one that I think is kind of interesting. I didn't find this one till this morning. Had never heard of this creature. Didn't know anything. Robert, how are you? Hit the like button, folks. Yeah, it's Bigfoot. It's or Swampfoot or Skunkfoot or.
Didn't one of the local shops offer something if somebody found proof?
Vaguely remember that. Vaguely.
I think I read something about that when we started talking, when we read an article about Swampfoot.
I vaguely remember.
Pardon me. See, now you got me calling it Swampfoot.
Well, Swampfoot, Skunkfoot. I've heard both around here. Now, here's one that I've not heard of anybody else having but us, and that's the Virginia Frogman. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, apparently we are special enough to have our own cryptid. The earliest reports of this aquatic half-man, half-frog-like cryptid were first reported, and this is not from Mr. Romano. I put this one together from different videos that I watched. So bear with. So let me start over. The earliest reports of this aquatic half-man, half-frog-like cryptid were first reported along the James River. There we go. There's your James River.
Yeah.
In the early 20th century. They are also referred to as lizardmen or Loveland frogmen. Loveland, yes. In 1972, 4 teenagers went camping along the James River. There you go with your James River, up near Richmond. The boys reported that after they had set up camp and started a campfire, they saw a 4-foot tall frogman come up out of the river. They quickly grabbed their flashlights to get a better look. It was at this point that the frogman lunged at them, hissing before returning to the river. It was at this point, after that incident, that the boys quickly packed up and headed back into town and reported things to the sheriff. The sheriff quickly dismissed it as the boys just playing a hoax, but there have been other sightings. Some believe that they're the next step in evolution.
I hope we don't evolve into frogmen.
Right, while others believe them to be guardian spirits. Those are some of the native tribes in the area. Most in the scientific community dismiss them as myth or fairy tale, meant to scare children. There are some who believe that these creatures may in fact actually exist and are approaching their studies approaching their studies of the frogman with an open mind. Either way, this endearing cryptid has captured the imagination of people in the world over. Excuse me. I apologize for that part.
I'm going to step in right there, if I may.
You may.
We discussed the goat man a little bit.
Yes, we did.
And although he does seem to be the information I found was talking about Maryland, it does seem that he crosses over into Virginia. Possibly even into West Virginia. I thought, being that you were talking about the frogman being used to scare children,
yes,
I thought that was an appropriate time to bring in the goat man.
By all means.
This is an article from the Washingtonian. This is at Washingtonian.com. And it's actually written by Matt Blitz. I'll actually read the whole article if that's all right.
Go for it.
There are so many variations on the story of Prince George's County Goat Man that it is nearly impossible to keep them straight. For some, he is but a lonely, angry goat herder who went berserk after finding his beloved goats dead due to teens tampering. To others, he is in the same family as Bigfoot, a mythical beast that roams the earth. In perhaps the most bizarre tale of them all, the goat man is the result of a ghastly experiment at the Beltsville Research Agricultural Center. The USDA facility has actually been forced to deny that one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they had to go on the record and deny it.
But they are a government agency,
yes.
And you know what they say about the government. Oh, yeah. I'm with the government, and I'm here to help. Run! Okay.
The goat man terrorizes lovers, chases teens, and decapitates dogs.
Wow.
He yells, squeals, and yes, makes goat noises. He's made reported appearances all across the region. He has inspired fear and fascination for decades. But according to historians, authors, and Mark Obsasnik, the foremost expert on the Maryland legend, there is a canonical, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Goatman origin story, and it begins on Fletchertown Road in Bowie. The first media mention of the Goatman came on October 27th, 1971, in the Bowie-based Prince George's County News. In the article, writer Karen Hustler took a deep dive into the University of Maryland folklore archives. She mentions the goat man along with the ghost and something called the boa man that also haunt the woods around Fletchertown Road. 2 weeks later, Hustler wrote another newspaper article with the headline, "Residents Fear Goat Man Lives, Dog Found Decapitated in Old Bowie." The article described the search of a family, the Edwards, for their missing puppy named Ginger. Days later, Ginger was found near Fletchertown Road. Pardon me if I've been saying Fletchertown. I apologize. It's Fletchertown Road, I guess. No, it is Fletchertown. They made a mistake. Dead and headless. So poor Ginger was found near Fletchertown Road, dead and headless. The article connected the deceased dog with the goat man, saying that a group of teenage girls, including the Edwards' 16-year-old daughter April, had heard strange noises and seen a large creature on the night the dog had disappeared. It also reported that sightings of an, quote, animal-like creature that walks on its hind legs, end quote, were increasing along Fletchertown Road. On November 30th, the Goat Man got its first introduction to a larger audience, thanks to the Washington Post. An article headlined, "A Legendary Figure Haunts Remote Prince George's Woods, Identifies the Young Men Who Found Ginger, Ray Hayden, John Hayden, and Willie Gein." The Prince George's County Police are also quoted in the piece saying that, quote, "the legend just gets passed on from generation to generation," and that they've been receiving more recent calls about Goat Man sighting. Asnick grew up mere miles from Bowie in Great Greenbelt and remembers very clearly the first time he heard the Goat Man legend. He was in 7th grade and in the back seat of his friend's older brother's car. Quote, "We would get rides. When we would act up in the back seat, they would tell us to shut the hell up or they'd dump us on Fletchertown Road and the Goat Man will get us," Asnick says.
What a name.
He became enamored of the story. While attending Roosevelt High School, Asnick and his friends would go goat man hunting. In fact, searching for them.
Brave souls.
In fact, searching for the monster had become a local teen obsession. Asnick describes goat man parties on Fletchertown Road and nearby Crybaby Bridge on Lotsford Park. Crybaby Bridge is actually a nickname for it. I forget the actual name for the bridge on Lotsford Road that sound like something out of Dazed and Confused. Halloween night in 1979 was one of the craziest nights of my life, Asnick says. Dr. Barry Pearson is a professor of folklore in the English department at the University of Maryland and was in charge of the aforementioned University of Maryland Folklore Archive. Even today, he says, quote, "If I mention the Goat Man on the first day of class, all the locals know exactly what I'm talking about." Pearson thinks the legend of the Goat Man was influenced by car culture in the 60s and 70s, which gave teens the freedom to discover the world around them. It might also be tied to what students were learning about Greek culture and the half-man, half-goat god, Pan, in school. Yep. Certainly the newspaper accounts helped. The goats are, kind of freaky anyway. Quote, "Goats are known to be smelly and sometimes kind of charming, but if you look at them closely, especially in their eyes, they are really scary in their own way," Pearson says. In 1987, Asnick started writing for Strange magazine and wasted no time getting to the Goat Man. In 1994, he wrote what he thinks was his first thoroughly researched piece about the legend, titled On the Trail of the Goat Man. He would later expand the article into a chapter for his book. He tracked the Edwards family and the men who found Ginger. Pardon me, he tracked down the Edwards family and the men who found Ginger. John Hayden told Opsnosnik he and the others had seen an animal the night before. It was about 6 feet tall, walked on 2 feet, and was hairy. Hayden also noted that it made a, quote, high-pitched sound like a squeal. Opsnosnik was also able to speak with April Edwards, Ginger's owner. People came here and called it folklore, and the papers made us out to be ignorant hillbillies who didn't know any better, Edwards said. But what I saw was real, and I know I'm not crazy. Whatever it was, I believe it killed my dog.
Oh.
Mark Opsnosnik doesn't believe the goat man exists. I can't believe in something until I see it with my own eyes, he says. He feels bad saying that because he generally believes that the people he talked to saw something. Quote, I mean, anything is possible in this world, he says. Maybe there is a half man, half animal creature out there.
I can't see why not. I mean,
No,
how many times did we discuss
the fact that they found creatures in the ocean after supposedly how long have, you know.
And then the Billy Ape in 1999, and, you know, I mean, they're finding stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. We have all this land that's been put aside for federal parks.
Air quote, federal parks.
That hasn't been fully explored. And like we were talking about with the land between the lakes, they're putting these, what was it, bison and deer, but they're not allowing hunting.
Nope.
These are big game animals. What are they feeding?
In large numbers.
Yeah.
So are you now worried about overpopulation? I would be.
I agree, Blaine. Legends of the Wolfman does come to mind.
Well, the next cryptid that I have is in Lee County, Virginia. It's from Lee County, Virginia, and it's a lizard man. The lizard man of Lee County. Sightings of the lizard man in the began as early as the early 1900s. He is described as a tall, half man, half reptile-like creature with scaly skin, long claws, and a long tail. There have been reports as late as July 10th, 2023, of sightings of the lizard man. The July 10th report was from a group of teens who reported seeing the lizard man, seeing a lizard-like creature, in the Shenandoah River in Page County, Virginia. The teens who reported to the sheriff said that a 7-foot tall lizard man with red eyes and a long tail emerged from the river and chased them for several minutes before disappearing into the woods. The sheriff, of course, dismissed it as a hoax. Of course, because it came from teens, you know. On September 15th of 2022, a couple in Culpeper, Virginia, which is up around Richmond, reported an encounter with a humanoid creature with scaly skin, glowing red eyes, and
I can't remember glowing green eyes.
That's what I'm saying. And spikes on its back. They said it stopped in the road and stared at them, which caused them to swerve their car, hitting a tree before the creature ran off into the trees. The couple called 911 and were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The police reported no signs, of evidence of the creature at the crash site. Of course, he was standing in the middle of the road. You're not going to get any footprints in the middle of the road. Now, granted, he did run off into the woods. Maybe they just, I don't know.
But without knowing what kind of footprints to look for.
Well, I mean, they're looking.
They're not going to know. And
7-foot tall creature is that's gonna leave quite a footprint.
yeah.
Whether you believe in the lizard man or not,
was it dirt that he wouldn't have stepped onto?
I don't know. But let me finish.
Sorry.
You cut me off. I love her. I do. I love her, but she cut me off. Whether you believe in the lizard man or not, it has become a very real part of the cultural landscape of Lee County, inspiring artworks, music, and literature about the creature that persist to this day. That's really all I could find on the lizard man, but I found it interesting that the lizard man of Lee County was specific enough to be in Lee County, which does cover the Culpeper area.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I included our friend here, the lizard man. Do you have any questions, dear? Does anyone in the chat have any questions? I would love to answer questions. There's a good reason I don't go into the woods alone without
an arsenal.
There are things you should be afraid of in those trees. Yeah, ain't that the truth? A bear can mess you up way more than or the Wolfman. Just ask Hugh Glass. Oh wait, he's dead. Yep. True story. Actually, no, I'm not going to tell you the story because I want you to go to
listen to your stories.
True Stories by Celtic Mutt, and I tell the story of my encounter with a mama bear and her cub and a 10-year-old boy at Northwest River. Yes, the same Northwest River that the Bigfoot was spotted at. That was back.
Hi,
Mac. Hello. Good to see you, sir. So yeah, if you want to hear that story, it is there. But yeah, that was a horrific stuff. That was a horrific experience. And yes, she did scare me. She wasn't that big a mama bear, but she still scared me. So, do you have any questions, dear?
None
you can think of.
Off the top of my head.
Not off the top of that pretty head of hers.
But just in case Blaine or Mac is interested, we know we told Ninja earlier, and there's actually 6 people in here now.
Yeah, there
so
are
it's not
several
just
workers.
Guards and Mac. If anyone's interested in seeing the pictures
from the wedding,
yes. If you would like to send me a friend request at my new Facebook page, it's Danica, Danica, Ward on Facebook. And I have the wedding pictures posted there.
And I am working on
wow, Blaine. Wow. He says he ran off a family of black bears with nothing more than a stick. He was absolutely terrified.
Yeah, I bet you were. If you were smart, you were. And there's a guy on YouTube, and I was following him for a little bit, but he has bears that come to his porch, and they've been doing this for years. There have been several generations of bears that have been coming to his front porch, and he
does he feed them?
Yes. Yes.
I can't read the end of the first line of what McGregor posted, so I'm going to let you.
I hit a bear with
in the nose
last week
with a shovel on the porch. Okay.
Ouch. They are. Yep. Her pictures, you can't miss them. They're definitely one of the first things she posted. So if you want to check those out,
they are the first things I posted.
They are the first things.
Yes, I haven't posted the profile pictures from the wedding, the back the whatever you call
Right.
it, is from the wedding.
Right.
And then the first post is the wedding pics.
Yep. Now here's the interesting thing about the wedding, the site of the wedding. The site of the wedding also appears in one of the very first things you find in my playlist, and that's the Battle of Great Bridge.
Well,
that is one of the very first. That was I did that before you came down.
so you went to sorry, you actually went to the battlefield, not where they do.
I went to the museum.
Okay.
I went to the museum, which is on the battlefield site.
Right. Which I want to go to.
Yes. And we will. And so yes, there I actually visited the museum, and this was before she and I got back together, and that is also there. So if you want to check that one out, I would greatly appreciate it.
Ooh, I'm
There's
sorry,
been
Blaine.
very many recent instances of
Was Houdini okay?
here. Yikes. You scare bears. You're as hairy as a bear, Blaine. So yeah, I get it. Yeah, they mistake you as one of their own. You got this big mountain man, bushy beard. Unless he shaved it all off since the last time I've seen him.
I believe I've seen him by video.
Yeah. Big hairy man. Big hairy scary man. Blaine's a good dude. Well, like I said, we will be doing a.
Loki is moving the lamp on you, dear.
Oh no, you're not either, buddy.
It was the other leg that did it. Yeah, he pushed it that direction.
Anybody want a cat? It's not mine. I can't give him away. He just got me a little frustrated right now. He's a good boy though. Even if he wasn't,
and he made beautiful babies.
He did indeed. Next week we will be discussing why the Mississippi River flows backwards, ladies and gentlemen. That is a natural phenomenon that I have heard about but have not looked into myself. I'm curious to see what we find out.
I'm glad you used the lead ball.
I'm curious to see what we find out. So, again, that was subscriber suggested.
Yes.
And we will be looking into that. So, do you have anything further to share? We're wrapping up.
No.
No? Okay. Well, tonight has been most interesting.
Again, we are sorry for the late start.
Yeah, forgive our late start. There were some technical difficulties that we had to adjust for. And so it gave us a little bit of a late start, but we are back on a regular schedule now. Now that I'm slowly, or not so slowly, regaining my strength.
He's recuperating, folks.
Yes. Yep, I'm recuperating. I'm slowly getting that strength back. Ninja, you are most welcome. We still need to have that conversation about Roxanne. But yeah, I mean, we're back to our regularly scheduled program, barring any further technical difficulties. So I want to thank each and every one of you who has joined us. Bears up here are too comfortable with coming into people's yards, and sometimes it takes
proper conservation practices.
To protect both bears and people.
Well, Mac, I'm glad to hear that you're getting a new rescue dog.
Good deal. He's 15 years old. Wow. The bear was uninjured. I figured he would be. I figured you'd have told me if you'd have got him.
Yeah.
Although they say bear steaks are really good, Blaine. I'm just saying that's what they tell me.
I've wanted to try bear. That looks like the most beautiful meat. Just such a beautiful black cherry.
Yep.
I've only seen it on TV, but oh, that looks just gorgeous.
And we could go to PETA. We could go to PETA. It's out in front. I can't go in the building. I'm banned from the building. But we could go into PETA and we could go
in
sit on
front
the
of
porch.
PETA and sit in front and have
That's
bear
right.
steak.
They got benches out front. How many of y'all would be interested in watching Mrs. Mutt and I go to PETA?
Sit out front of PETA and have bear steaks.
I actually got kicked out for taking in a cheeseburger. True story. True story. I was kicked out of the national PETA office for PETA, which is here in Norfolk, which is part of Hampton Roads, and was taking a friend lunch because I told her I would, and they got offended that I brought in cheeseburgers.
Ooh, that does not sound appetizing at all, Blaine.
And Black Bear. He's like, well, he's eating City Bear.
Yeah.
That's City Bear. And I can see where a brown bear would taste like, you're not, you got to brine that stuff. You really do. You really got to brine it. In my experience, in my limited experience, you got to brine just about any wild meat to get the gamey taste out. Deer.
Well,
moose. Moose. Although the moose I've tried was processed.
What they do up in Wisconsin, as far as ground deer, they cut it with hamburger.
Yeah, that's what they did with the moose. Was they cut it with hamburger. That's what I made that moose chili out of. It was, I think it was a 70-30 blend. I think it was 70% moose and 30% regular hamburger.
Yeah, and you also need that because you got to have the fat.
Fat, yeah, exactly. Because the moose does not have any fat to it, and it would just burn otherwise.
Well, not only that, but fat equals flavor.
Yeah, true. Well, there's plenty of. I'm making chili. You've had our chili.
Yes. Just ask any chef. Fat equals flavor.
Then I'm all kinds of flavor, baby. Then I'm all kinds of flavor.
Why do you think I'm in love with you?
That's why. Now, y'all heard it here first. She's in love with me because I'm fat, folks, and I got plenty of flavor.
I'm in love with you because you're so flavorful.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Ain't killing nothing in my old age. Live and let live. Okay, Mac. I don't know how.
I might kill a fish or two. I don't hunt.
I don't know.
Other than that, it's coming out of my freezer or my fridge.
Yeah. Gorton's Fisherman.
Yeah, speaking of which, next time they bring us groceries and we order that, it better be still frozen.
Ooh.
That's why they look like crud. They weren't all the way frozen when they went in the freezer.
Ooh.
So they're all bent.
Okay. That's a problem. Fortunately, we haven't gotten sick on any of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're getting off on tangents here.
Sorry.
Where was I? I was thanking everybody for being here tonight. And we've gone off on tangents of what bear tastes like and everything else.
Speaking of what things taste like, that cake was amazing.
It was good. Too bad there's none of it left. Or is there?
There's one piece left.
Split it?
Okay.
Yeah.
It was an almond cake with amaretto icing.
You, sir, do not belong on the table. Move your butt. Move your butt. You know better. Move. Go on. Anybody want a 19-pound cat? Get off the table.
You just told them he's not yours. You can't get rid of him.
I know.
You can't give him up.
I know. I'm not allowed to give him up, but it is still. Boring rats I don't eat.
Oh yeah, we love some Captain D's.
Lane, we'll have that conversation at some point.
There is a restaurant right down the street and around the corner here that I am dying to try their fish.
Croaker. They're croakers.
I keep thinking they have tilapia, but you're right, it's croaker.
It's
isn't it?
croaker.
Yeah, I don't think I have caught croaker, but I've never had croaker to my knowledge.
I think they were closed today for Juneteenth.
That's a possibility.
I think they were. Rat, canine, or cat are definitely off.
Blaine, you'll have to ask him about monkey.
Yeah, you'll have to ask me about monkey at some point. That's one of them conversations we'd have to have face to face. But I have had monkey too, but that wasn't here in the States.
I'm sorry, Matt.
No, I want cake. Dang it. M&M's must do. Well, Blaine.
I'm sorry, Mac.
Mac, I got to tell you, she's not wrong about that cake. They did a bang up job. Carrabba's did a great job.
Yes.
And yes. Yeah, that was a trip I took to Venezuela back in the late 80s. And the gentleman with whom I went along had ordered for each of us a different traditional Venezuelan menu item. And mine came and looked like a burger. It came on a bun, had lettuce and tomato, onion, looked just like a hamburger. I took the first bite of that.
Did it taste like a burger?
And it was the gamiest, nastiest tasting thing I have ever put in my mouth. And I have eaten some very strange things, as Mrs. Mutt can attest.
I haven't witnessed, but I've heard.
Yes. I've eaten rat. I've eaten seagull. You do things when you live on the street and you need to survive. But monkey's right up there at the top of the list. It is nasty. It is gross. And I will never again, ever again let somebody else order food for me that doesn't, first of all, isn't speaking English. He ordered in Spanish, of course.
I love bison, Blaine.
Yep.
We when I lived out in Arizona, I found out I loved Indian tacos.
Yep.
And I found a recipe, and we actually made Indian tacos here at the house.
We need to go to Lumbee.
What's Lumbee?
Lumbee is down in North. It's not a what is. It's
A
a
where?
where. Lumbee is in North Carolina. It's the Lumbee the Lumbee reservation, and they are actually licensed to raise bison, and they make a phenomenal bison burger.
But we had this even went so far as to how to make I don't want to call it a shell.
We've now
I'm
gone.
sorry, Blaine.
Wait, we've now gone from cryptids into the food hour, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry, Blaine. I don't mean to make your mouth water. But I mean, it's basically, it's just the whatever taco toppings like normal. But if you want to call it a shell, you can call it a shell. It's basically like it's fried out. And then we actually got ground bison.
Yeah.
I ordered it from Amazon.
Yeah.
And we browned that up and put the taco seasoning in it and did that.
Yep. Yeah, I could go for a bison burger right about now. I really could. That is some good eating right there. But my moose chili wasn't bad either.
Now, see, I'd like to try that. I've never had moose.
Moose is really good. Moose is really, really good. When I was living in New Hampshire, a buddy of mine would go hunting every year, and he bagged himself a deer he bagged a moose. He did a bow hunting. He bagged a moose bow hunting.
Max says he lived with the Lumbee chick for
Yep.
years.
Yep. Am I wrong about? Am I not? Am I wrong about them being allowed to raise bison? I know that they've been to several of the powwows down here selling bison burgers. I was told they were licensed to raise bison. You lived with a Lumbee, so he lived with a Lumbee chicken. A chicken? I know what he meant.
Hey.
Best taco I ever had was taco.
No, little one. You're quiet. Thank you.
Okay. I can't even pronounce half of what was in that.
Well, I can't see. I've got the heart
here.
in the way. Pollo de naranja. So it's chicken of something, but I'm not sure what naranja translates to.
So pollo is chicken?
Yeah, pollo is chicken. Day is of.
Chicken of the day?
I'm sure that's not chicken of the day. And besides that, day is not naranja.
I know.
Yes. So what is naranja, Blaine? Grilled orange chicken tacos. Oh, okay.
Grilled orange chicken tacos. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. And I thought I've never had orange chicken. And I'm not trying to be funny. I've never had orange chicken.
You've never had orange chicken?
No.
Oh, that's not bad. Orange chicken. I prefer not to like the Panda Express and your big stuff, your big places.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not big on. I prefer the mom and pops. They're more authentic.
They tend to be more authentic. I don't know. I doubt it. There was a place over in Indian River that was authentic. In fact, it was the parents of a guy my dad used to ride the ambulance with. I don't know that his folks were even still alive because they were up there back then. But they had a restaurant.
Yeah, you find little places and little trucks and stands and things like that, and you never find them again.
We're on our way, Mac. We're on our way. Boston butt, heck yeah. We're on our way. Get in the car. Let's go. I just need the address when I cross the Carolina line, brother. I just need the address.
See, I'm not necessarily a big fan of the corn tortilla. I'm more of a flour tortilla person.
See, I'm a corn tortilla person. If I'm going to do a tortilla, I just prefer the hard shell tacos, but I'm a white boy.
Yeah,
Loki? No, wait, that's not Loki.
That's
Abby.
Abby. Loki's in the chair behind you.
Abby.
She's gonna ignore you.
Hi, sweetheart. She looked right over at me. Ha ha. Anyway, okay, gang, we have definitely gone off the rails. I am starting to get sore. So we're going to go ahead and end this. Again, we appreciate each and every one of you. We are at 590. And last time I looked, we were at 592 subscribers. So,
wow.
If you are finding that you come here regularly but are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. And I know that my beautiful bride would appreciate it. and it would help us out tremendously. So please, if you have not already subscribed, please do. We will see each and every one of you that returns next week for our discussion of the Mississippi River. Till then, I want you to take care of yourselves and each other, and we are out.
Have a good night, everybody.
Y'all be good.